all of this focus on 2025? Why? Why? Maybe because the season's upcoming, sure. But we're going to go back at 2024 and figure out where we screwed up. Yo, what's happening, everybody? We're back for another episode of Too Much Fantasy Football. It's Brian, it's Brennen. It's a great freaking time about to happen. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. I can't wait to see if how good I am at guessing. So,
Yeah, we have quite the show for you today. As I alluded to, we're going to be going back into 2024, looking at some of these players. I'm going to be throwing out stats to Brennan without the name, and we're going to see if he can guess this player. Just kind of looking at where their ADP was, where their finish was, and I'm sure that's going to evolve into quite a few conversations about this year's ADP. Before we get rocking and rolling, though, I got a question for you.
okay.
All right, it's 2025. Which coach is on the hot seat first?
I think there's a few. I'll say I think the popular media answered probably be McDaniels from Miami, just because obviously it's that first season was electric. They go to the playoffs. Obviously he's hitting the nicotine on the sidelines in the playoffs. And it's just it's slowly starting to dwindle. Last season, they had the games with Tua when he was healthy for a stretch, and Tyreek wasn't getting the ball. He expressed frustration in a new video about talking about it. Jalen Waddle just got a big contract. He was kind of in no man's land. Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane were the leading leaders in targets. I would say him. My next answer would be, obviously, I can say a homer answer. Shane Steichen would probably be, with obviously the new owner taking over, saying Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen are basically they need to improve. So,
Oh yeah, the Colts could have new ownership, GM, head coach, and quarterback in the 2026 season.
yes.
It's wild out there in Indy. I definitely agree with the Miami take. I think this is what we're going into year 3, year 4 for him.
Yeah.
So this is usually when those questions are asked. And it's good. So too many guys are getting fired after 1 and 2 years. I think you got to give them a little bit of time to work through it. But this team's old. They've spent a lot of money on this team too. And Jonnu Smith's looking for more money. So yeah, I think this is a make it or break it year for them for sure.
Yeah, speaking of him, he's not showing up to mandatory minicamp right now. I mean, honestly, from a fantasy perspective, I do hope he gets traded, because obviously it just helps Waddle and Hill. They just get more targets and everything else like that. But if he stays, it kind of hinders what your thoughts are on Hill and Waddle at the same time too.
But luckily, Tua did vow to stay healthy this year. He just came out yesterday saying that, you know what, he's going to be healthy. Whatever magic juice he has, I hope he passes the bottle to Waddle.
And I vow to not scream at any time the Colts don't make a mistake this year when I watch them play. Yeah.
Yeah, some people just lie sometimes, folks. That's just how that works. I mean, I think this is just this vendetta I clearly have against Zach Taylor. But look, the Bengals are in a situation where if they don't make some magic happen this year, I don't know why his job wouldn't be up for consideration. It's been several years. He's had an elite quarterback come in there. Just, the chances that don't just happen to people. And I think they're wasting away his career.
I agree with you on Zach Taylor. My only thing is that this ownership is just cheap. If his contract isn't going to run out by the end of this year, then I can't see that, because they're very cheap. Look what they're doing with their first round pick. It seems now the trend for most first round, even now second round picks, are almost all guaranteed. They're even whether it's injury or not, it's all guaranteed. And Shamar Stewart has made a point. I usually tend to agree with the players, and I can sometimes understand from an owner standpoint of money logistics wise, but this is all the same. He's wanting the same contract everybody else wants, and they're just basically trying to rewrite it to where if he gets hurt, he loses a lot of guaranteed money. It's I'm literally asking for what everybody else has gotten, and so yeah. Bengals are kind of in shambles right now.
And I mean, in defense of Zach Taylor, I guess not really for him, more so like you said, the Bengals. Marvin Lewis sat there way longer than any coach should have ever sat there without doing anything substantial. I think he was there for 20 years.
Yeah, I would say 20 years. He did go to the playoffs, but he never got out of the first round, right? If I'm not mistaken, he never once.
Don't believe so.
I don't think so. I can't think of a time where they advanced.
And they had some talent there. Sure, he was working with the Red Rifle for a lot of that, but AJ Green was there. They had Hushmanzada. They had Ocho Cinco come. They had some big names there for the wide receiver core. Cedric Benson.
Yeah, no, they had a good roster. I don't think it just clicked when it came to playoff time.
I mean, then maybe it's kind of goes hand in hand with Shane Steichen, but Jonathan Gannon over there with the Cardinals, he got hired the same time as Steichen. He's been there for several years. I have optimism for the Cardinals team overall this year. I'm kind of betting on the over for a lot of their stuff, so I have faith that this offense is going to get a little bit more creative, but I definitely could see him.
They're supposedly going to use motion this year, so hey, because I think they were like dead last in motion play last year. So
and yet they're top 3 in efficiency plays as far as the running game goes. I think they're top 3 in 10-yard and 20-yard runs over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
come on, Kyler, deep play action. Let's get it, make it happen. And then maybe Andy Reid too. It's been almost 2 years since he won a Super Bowl, so
yeah.
I'm just.
I was going to say, I don't know if you're being sarcastic. I'll say a spicy name where I can see it. Sean McDermott. Just if they don't if they get bounced in the first round, I could just see it's time to move on and move to something else. If they don't get to the AFC Finals and it's they need to beat the Chiefs. They need to get over that hump. And it's just starting to get to that point where it's when is it time? So I could definitely see Sean McDermott be on the hot seat.
Yeah, almost kind of Mike Tomlin-esque. And is this the franchise that is willing to recognize, look, he's good, he can get us the playoffs every year, but that's not good enough for us. We want the Super Bowl. So I'd love to see the odds because I'd sprinkle a little money on that. I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
All right, folks, get on your goggles. We're diving headfirst into Time Machine. I don't know where the what stylistic we're going, the approach we're going for this, but essentially we're going back in time here. So let's start off with this first player. His 2024 ADP, he was going at number 5 at his position, 51 overall.
Okay.
He finished at 17 at his position.
I think you already know what this is.
Go for it.
Dalton Kincaid?
No.
Okay. All right. Wow.
I will give you it's a quarterback. So he was going QB5, finished at QB17. This is a guy that only finished with 20 touchdowns. He was 15th in yards, 12th in completions, and his rushing attempts only 18th in the league in rushing attempts. So this is not a mobile guy, and yet we were drafting him at QB5.
Mahomes?
Second-year player.
What the heck? Oh, CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud, yes.
I should have gotten that, yeah.
That's why I didn't want to give you QB5 right off the bat, because I'm like, he's going to, as soon as I give the big and the low. But yeah, CJ Stroud, despite going that high, did not return on investment, finishing at QB17, currently going at QB20 right now this year. So we've kind of realized where it could be. But is this an overcorrection? Is this us fading legit pocket passer talent because he kind of scored a little last year and we've kind of beat it over everybody's head that you need some rushing upside?
So I think there's multiple factors to this. One, obviously he had a crazy rookie year, and look what happens now. Bo Nix is in the top 10 because he was a top 10 player. Caleb Williams there because we know the high upside and everything else like that. So everything's reactionary. Stroud had a great year. Stroud's second year, which you and I both said he's a bust. I had him on my bust list just because I just thought he doesn't have that much of a scramble. He can scramble. He just chooses not to. To this day, it still blows my mind. I get frustrated watching it. But for me, I think there's a multitude of factors. I think that at 20, that's a little low. I'd have him a little bit higher for me, but I also can see the factor of that offensive line is still yikes. I look at that, I'm like, ooh, but they added new weapons. They added Jalen Noel, and they also added Higgins. This could be a high-powered offense, and also newly acquired Nick Chubb. So it's just a little weird for me.
Yeah, he was second in the league in sacks last year. CJ Stroud had 52 sacks. I know they tore down the offensive line, but it was garbage regardless. So even though they put in some new names there, I have to have hope that they should be a little bit better than they were last year. Maybe the scheme could help them out a little bit too, putting them not in those pressure situations. And he lost technically he lost all 3 of his receivers last year at one point in time.
Yeah, he lost Nico for the hamstring. He lost Tank Dell got hurt, and then Stephon Diggs tore his ACL. Because I remember was it Hutchinson? We were debating who's going to be the leading in targets, Robert Woods.
We're talking about Mechie as well.
It was a struggle, and obviously none of those guys panned out. That's why they went and drafted second and third round in Higgins and Noel. They were just we need depth.
Hell, I remember a point last year when I was barking up the Schultz tree looking for a tight end streamer, and it still didn't come to fruition. So it just doesn't always happen, even though guys pop up higher on the depth chart. Talent still plays into it. scheme, quarterback, all that stuff. So yeah, CJ Stroud, like I said, going QB 20, I think it's a bit of an overreaction. I would draft him with more of that QB 15-ish comfortability, so not far off, but just higher than what we have him at right now.
Yeah, like if I'm in a super flex league, like if I have like a top high end pick, like the first four guys, like I would wait for like a Stroud. Like I would be like, okay, I'm comfortable with this as my QB2. I don't need to take a second one of Bo Nix or Caleb like that instant in the turn. Like I can kind of wait with him.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, next player here. We're going to talk running back.
Okay.
This guy was being drafted RB 43. 118th overall. Yeah, this is a deep guy. Like looking back, I mean, I know exactly why you and I weren't drafting him because, there was younger talent around there in the backfield. There's a reason he wasn't getting picked up. He finished as RB 15 last year.
Like I want to say Aaron Jones, but I feel like that's incorrect.
Yeah, he was going higher than 43.
I thought so too, because he finished RB. I'm trying to think of like guys who just finished right in the middle, like RB 15.
Not a sexy pick. We were picking the rookie over top of him, the injured rookie.
Injured rookie? Who was the injured rookie?
Yeah, played 15 games.
Devin Singletary? No, that's not right. He didn't finish RB. I was like trying to think of like a Tyrone Tracy. Like who?
This guy finished 8th in yards last year, just shy of 1,200 yards.
Okay, why am I drawing a blank now? What the heck?
Let's go to Carolina.
Oh, Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard. Yes, folks. We were drafting Jonathan Brooks, the rookie out of Texas. I believe he was a second-round pick to Carolina, coming off the ACL tear. And the writing was on the wall. He was going to be the next Todd Gurley, because that's exactly what we got with Todd Gurley. Tore an ACL last year in college, came in, sat out a few weeks, and then just dominated. And I had a healthy exposure to Jonathan Brooks last year in best ball. And I can say that I was below average on Chuba Hubbard. And looking back, I'm like, well, it's the emotion of it. I bought into the hype. I mean, I guess our reaction now this year, he's going at RB 18. We got an RB 15 finish from him last year. Nothing has really changed except he got the bag. They brought in Rico Dowdle, which I was never impressed with that talent. So overreaction or underreaction with the RB 18 currently?
I think that's properly rated, actually. I think it's properly rated. I think like he's gonna probably finish right around there. I think where you're drafting is where he's gonna finish. I do like obviously like Rico Dowdle. I think Rico Dowdle will get some work in. I think they brought him in for a reason. Chuba Hubbard does not scream to me being a 3-down back. I don't think he's built that way. So like I do think Dowdle will get some work in here and there. So like I could see like a 65-35 split kind of an ordeal.
And we saw Chuba kind of slowing down toward the end of the season. Like you said, he's not going to be the bell cow guy, but if he's still out there, if he's out there catching passes still, especially in this, this offense where we know they want to get the running back involved in the passing game, RB 18 seems like a great price for him to still return back on the investment you're putting in. I could still see him finishing between RB 12 and RB 15. Running back injuries we didn't have injuries at all last year. They're going to hit this year, folks. Go ahead and get ready for it. Prepare. We're going to have some heartbreak, and that allows some of these guys that you think are going to be at 18 to finish a little bit higher just because those elite talents are gone.
I'm starting to think for my redraft strategy, I might go wide receiver heavy and just take some of the later RBs. Just like there's just no way. Like the health anomaly last year was just crazy. Like again, the injury prone is not really a thing, but like typically RBs do get hurt more than others. Like it was just one of those weird things. So
nobody touches the ball more than those guys. Like it's just math, folks. We're just mathing this out here. We're not scientists or going deep into injury history, anything like that. It's just how that works. You've played fantasy for multiple years. Take off the 2024 lenses and look deeper. You've been screwed by injuries. David Johnson, CMC, guys that you took in the very first round went down day one. So like it's going to happen. But Chuba Hubbard, I don't mind the price. I'm willing to bite into it. I wish I could get him at 43 this year.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. But yeah, no, I think he's probably rated. Like I don't think you're getting a discount, and I don't think you're reaching. I think he's just one of those like safe floor tier type of guys where you're just getting right at value.
All right, next player. We're going to go into wide receivers here.
Okay.
This guy was taking at wide receiver 9 last season, 15th overall. So this was a early second round pick for you. He finished the season with 8 touchdowns It's not
I
too
think I know who it
shabby.
is. I think I can guess.
Go ahead.
I think it's Marvin Harrison Jr.
It is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I finally got one off the rip. I'm so excited. I was gonna be bummed if I didn't get one off the rip. But yeah,
Yeah, Marv going at wide receiver 9 in ADP finishes at, I mean, you call it an abysmal wide receiver 30, but it's a rookie wide receiver, folks. We should have had tempered expectations here. This year he is going at wide receiver 15 as of ADP here in mid-June. I like it. I wish it was a little lower. I wish people were a little bit more heartbroken because I still think that there's plenty of people on the Marv bandwagon.
yeah. I think it's a mixture of things. I think it's like those that took Marvin are probably not going to take him this year just because of how badly they were burned. But you and I both were like on the table, like this is really, really high for a rookie wide receiver in redraft purposes. Like I thought, like even Malik Neighbors was pretty high, but like obviously that was a great pick for you. Like I'm just saying though, like in that sense, like that's. Like, remember when, like, because Jamar Chase, I think he was a 5th-round pick.
5th or 6th. There was that report in preseason that he couldn't catch.
The yips.
And we got a
everyone
nice
was
fall.
scared, and it's like, dude, this dude's like a phenomenal talent. Did we not watch the LSU tapes? Like, but yeah, for me, like, it comes down to, like, the offensive, it comes down to play calling. Because, like, I feel like there's times where, like, Marvin was, like, wide open, and, like, they just didn't air out the ball. Like, they're doing a lot of go routes with him and stuff like that. Like, for me, like I'm kind of in on Marvin. I didn't draft him last year just because I thought he was going way too high. But like it's just one of those things. If they're starting to use motion, I think things will start to open up for this offense.
Yeah, I caught myself clicking Drake London a good amount more over Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson a little bit too was in that area.
I flip flop on best ball between Wilson and Marvin.
Mm-hmm. It was just high. If I could have gotten the 2-3 turn, it was such a easier pick to make, but so high that 1-2 turn was very gray last year as far as like truly knowing what you were getting. Marvin Harrison though, 114 targets last year. It's good. Do you remember how many he caught of those 114?
He had like I'm trying to remember how many he had because he was like very similar towards his dad's stats. It's like was it under 80?
It was 62
That's
receptions.
what I thought.
It was
him and his dad had the same similar stat lines. It was crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, still brought in 885 yards, which it's not bad for a rookie season.
It's a good year. Like,
yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Like it's still a good year.
And then the 8 touchdowns. That's something that doesn't always translate early. So like if we can, I mean, Trey McBride also was not taking any of the touchdowns
were in
for himself.
Games. I know, like there was one game where he had 3, and I think another one he had 2. So like it's like they were very bunched up together.
Yeah, I thought his first game with the touchdown was actually a double touchdown game, but that was the unfortunate part because you would get those big explosive games, and then you'd play him for 3 more weeks, and it probably bit you in the back end.
Yeah.
So yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., it's wide receiver 15. Right around the draft, he was still closer to wide receiver 20. I loved that. There was so much room for error or this offense to not be as great as I want. Now at wide receiver 15, we need the Cardinals to be good, but I think the talent's there, and I think this offense can really get the ball moving.
I think you and I can agree, though, when redraft purposes, I don't feel comfortable with him being my wide receiver 1. Like, if you decide to go RB and then like a Brock Bowers type, like that turn area, and he falls that 3rd, like I'm a little skeptical if he's my first wide receiver. So on this team, on my team I build.
Yeah, right now he's going at the 2-3 turn. So if you're drafting early in the 3 and you can get him as maybe your second wide receiver, or if you've got 2 elite running backs, then that makes sense for me. But yeah, I don't really like him. Rashee Rice is going right next to him.
I'm literally smashing Rice.
God, we're going to keep losing people watching this just if we keep talking about Rice. But
it's
you know what,
guys,
folks?
It will pan out. I promise it's going to pan out. Please pan out.
It technically panned out last year.
We were correct for 4 weeks, and then Patrick Mahomes decided to tear his ACL.
Freaking Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah.
All righty, next position we're going to go back to quarterback here.
Okay.
This guy was going at quarterback 21 last year. Finished as QB3. Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Finished as QB3. This guy got another offensive coordinator. We doubted it. We didn't think he could do it. Thought he was aimed for regression. No. He was 5th in attempts last year. 2nd in touchdowns with 41 touchdowns.
I think I know. Wait, QB3. Baker?
Baker, baby.
Yeah.
Baker. Talk about a steal of the draft. You were probably taking him as your second quarterback way late. And this guy just
pick up for most people.
Yeah, it was freaking crazy. And to look, too, I was talking about C.J. Stroud being 18th in rushing attempts. Baker was only 14th. We keep talking about Baker's the rushing he gave us, and the yards were good, but like he wasn't running at a pace that isn't something he could do each week. So the 41 touchdowns, though, is that something that can be replicated?
I think there's going to be some regression. I like because I think he's going as QB7 or 6, somewhere right. It's somewhere right around there.
7, yeah.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like he has four really good wide receivers, a really good tight end because Kadon has only been finishing as a top 12 tight end for most weeks, and then two really good backs you can catch out of the backfield. Like the offensive line's the same. The only thing that's different is a new play caller. But again, it's just another. It's like a Liam Cohen-esque type of tree where they're just going to come to call the same plays. Like it's one of those like you can take that chance, and I don't hate it. Like I do think like all these guys who have these like high upside touchdowns, like Joe Burrow, Baker, all these guys, someone's going to have regression. I don't know who, and if I had it, I don't know if it's going to be Baker though. Like I definitely could see him being around like 35 touchdowns again. That's a great year. It is simply a great year. It does feel weird. It's like if I take Baker, like do you kind of feel gross taking him and that like the 7th overall? Like I still feel kind of gross. Like it's just like I like Baker, but like it's weird.
It's taking out the risk. That risk is now baked in because he had 3 rushing touchdowns and 300 yards. Yeah, he moved a little bit, but that doesn't put you in that like second tier of rushing quarterbacks for me. You know, like the Drake Mays of the world.
Yeah, it's funny. You and I both have him at QB9. So like you and I are both on that page of like I just we acknowledge he's good, but there's a little air of caution. There's other guys who think they could just finish ahead of him on a game.
41 touchdowns last year. Year before that was 28. So just like
he slings it. That's always been his MO. Is that he's a gunslinger. Like he does not care.
He averages in there like mid to high 20s when he finishes the full season. So that's good. Yeah. But 41, that's different. It's the same reason I'm skeptical on Lamar as far as just where those points are going to be coming. Can they get another 40 touchdown season?
Yeah. I mean, again, like they just added Emeka Ibuka, who you and I both like. We both really comped him to Robert Woods. So if it's a prime young Robert Woods in this team, along with Mike Evans, along with Chris Godwin, and also McMillan, who you and I still both like it's just it's hard to just doubt it.
And Chris Godwin, it has been, I guess, confirmed as much as the coaches will that he will be playing back in the slot. He'll continue to be in the slot this year. That was a big piece for me. If they moved him outside to put Ibuka in there or McMillan, that's when the fear really set in with, do I want to buy Godwin this year? But I think I'm still willing to roll with it. Next up, let's go back to another running back here. This guy was going at RB17 last year, 45 overall.
Okay.
He finished as the RB9, so blew the water out of his ADP. He was 14th. Oh, I'm sorry. He only played 14 games to give you that RB9 finish. Granted, those games that he missed were missed because they were in the playoffs, but led the league in targets for running backs last year.
What the heck? Okay, I was like at first my guess was Devon Achane. That's not it. He missed the playoffs. James Conner, right?
No, led the league in targets.
Oh, led the league in targets. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was a receiving back that I'm like going through the names. Like I'm having a
quarterback room was just a hot mess. He got a new head coach this year and a new quarterback.
Oh, Breece Hall?
Alvin Kamara.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Alvin Kamara. Yeah, this guy he's continuing to age. I was ready to start fading him, but I don't think that's going to be this year because you know what? His ADP is going at RB20, lower than it was last year after we got a 14-game RB9 finish. So where's consensus? Are they off or are they right on?
I think they're right on because I think at the end of the day, like when I look at Alvin Kamara, I think he's just going to get a ton of dump offs. Like I think with like Derek Carr, didn't he have like 9 receptions for 35 yards? Was like basically what he was doing every week. Like he's a great PPR play. Like at the end of the day, if in a full point PPR, I'm taking him because it's just like give me those stupid dump offs for 4 yards all day long. Like I'm all for it. Like I think where do I have him as RB18. You have him as, I'm assuming it's right around there, RB20. So, yeah.
Sounds like I need to move him up a little bit because I believe in Kamara. I believe in this season. I love that we have the Kellen Moore coming to town, so like he doesn't have a lot to work with. But he's a talented play caller. You know, he'll make something happen with this team,
He's
even
very
if it's
fast-paced guy. I think he's going to want to do a lot of more of like just quick motion stuff. So I think that benefits Kamara. So hopefully it benefits Olave too, and not getting to go to the hospital.
right. I saw that what's his name, Jordan, the defensive end, is pushing for Jameis Winston to get traded to the Saints. He's like, yeah, bring back my boy Jameis. I was like, okay, let's go.
No, my Tyler Shough stocks in my Superflex drafts are
come on. Jameis will be benched by week 6. We just need a few weeks of lightning.
Yeah, dude, honestly, those games will be nuts.
So 2025 ADP, we said Chuba's 18, Kamara's 20. Who do you like more out of the two?
Half point Chuba, full point Kamara. It is like I think it'll come down to like league settings for me. Like, so, because I think Chuba's going to get a lot more groundwork too. Like, I can definitely see the rookie from Kansas getting in a little bit of more work. They took him in the 5th round, which obviously we all thought was a big fall.
Devin Neal.
Yeah. I think he can get some work. So,
hey, I've seen camp hype for Marcus Yarns too, their 7th round running back. So we're not betting down there in the 7th, but so, you know what? He looks better right now than Devin Neal, who I liked. I really liked Devin Neal. I was pretty upset when he went to the Saints because Kendre Miller. There goes that one too.
Yeah, but hold on. Dennis Allen was a big Miller fan last year.
I bet he's hurt right now. Did you hear freaking Marshawn Lloyd's hurt again?
I heard that. I've been taking him still in best ball. It's June. If it's August, I'm worried, but it's June. Unless your name's Anthony Richardson, then I'm just hurt.
Oh, God. We're going to stay off that train today, folks. Yeah. No Anthony Richardson talk. Let's go to another wide receiver. Funny enough, we talked about Marv finishing at wide receiver 30 with 8 touchdowns. Well, this wide receiver finished with 8 touchdowns, and he finished at wide receiver 15. Yes, the guy that we were taking at wide receiver 43 in ADP gave us a wide receiver 15 finish.
I think I know who. Okay. Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, buddy. Look at that one. There we go.
I had him last year. That's why I was like,
132 targets, 81 catches, over 1,000 yards with a rookie quarterback on a team that everybody said, what are they doing? Courtland Sutton's going at wide receiver 28 this year. I like him as a low-end wide receiver too.
Yeah, like if he could be like my wide receiver 2, like great wide receiver 3.
That's ideally where I want to buy him, but I think he can give you wide receiver 2 performances.
Yeah, I think wide receiver 28. I think that's a good value for him. I think that's a little. I gotta go look at my rankings now. Wide receiver, wide receiver 28. Where do I have Courtland Sutton here? Wide receiver. I have him a wide receiver 28. I have Jameson Williams ahead of him and Travis Hunter ahead of him. And I think I'm correct on those. I think I'd still rather have the upside of Williams and Hunter before I take Courtland Sutton.
As my wide receiver 3, yes, I think I'd rather have Travis Hunter over Sutton. But if the draft falls that way and I have to pick one of these as my wide receiver 2, I want Sutton. I think Sutton just feels a little bit safer in that area, and I think that's the way you need to look at drafting him. He's not going to be a sexy pick. He may not exactly look great in the lineup,
but a safe floor to have as like a week-to-week basis.
100%. Alrighty. Let's go back to quarterback. Our last quarterback we're going to talk about here. This guy finished at QB 12 last year. He was 13th in completions and attempts, 9th in yards, 23 touchdowns, and he was going at QB 17. So 5 positions he jumped up.
We jumped up. Okay, and he finished at QB 12. Jared Goff?
No, I think Goff finished at like 7 or 8 last year.
QB 12.
This guy, he just got himself another rookie wide receiver to pair with the rookie wide receiver that broke out for him last year.
Rookie wide receiver that broke out last year. Okay, so
pushing for a tight end, but they will not.
Herbert.
It is Herbert.
Okay, I was like, Ricky. I was trying to go in my head like Brian Thomas Jr. No, because Trevor's. Makes sense.
Yeah, Justin Herbert going at QB 17 QB 16. So right around where we got him last year. Finishes at QB 12. I feel like this offense just got more potent, adding in a legit running threat. Not that J.K. Dobbins didn't do his job last year, but Omarion Hampton is absolutely going to go in there and command a presence as well with his running mate Najee Harris. They added Trey Harris in the 2nd or 3rd round. It was a day 2 pick, 2nd round pick. Another 2nd round wide receiver after Lav McConkey they got last year. Quentin Johnston, evidently we got hype on him again after his. I feel like it was a
We had hype
redemption
on
year
him
for him
last year
year.
too. We had hype on
But
him
I mean,
last year
I feel
too.
like it was kind of a redemption this past year. Now, is he
Sure.
fulfilling that first round grade? No, but like I think he can go in there and be a contributing piece to this offense if he's not relied on to be the guy.
So I have him at QB 15. I have Brock Purdy right ahead of him. Um, for me, Harbaugh's thing is he wants to pound the rock. He couldn't do that last year with Gus and JK. It didn't work out, so they forced Herbert to throw the ball more. With Ladd, obviously, that's why Ladd had over 112 targets, like over 1,000 yards. I expect Herbert to. I expect this team to be a very run-heavy team. I expect them to pound the absolute ball with Najee and Omari and Hampton. I do think I can look back at my rankings now. I think Herbert's properly rated, but I do not expect him. I would not want him in a single quarterback league as my QB1. I would be very upset.
No, he'd be my second quarterback drafted in a single quarterback format.
Yes.
I have him right there, right around, I think, QB 14 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. I think with this pounding the rock, running the ball, it's going to open up some play action, and it's going to open up a handful of those deep passes, and I think he's going to have a decent amount of touchdowns. Like I said, he only had 23 touchdowns last year. I like that to be a lot closer to 30 this year, just because this offense has the potential to be top 8, top 6. That offensive line is juiced.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think you and I both can acknowledge, like, if there was not like a fantasy aspect to it, Herbert's the 7th best quarterback in the league. Like,
I think if you're starting an NFL franchise, I think he's
like
in
Herbert's
that top
going
5,
in the top
7.
10. Yeah, like it's just obviously the Chargers just have these moments of abysmal, like when it comes to just like crucial moments. So like I remember I saw a video of like top 5 worst Charger moments ever, and I'm just like, oh, these are so bad. Like obviously every fan base has those moments, but like I've watched all of these, like, and they're all recent. So yeah, no, I definitely think obviously Harbaugh's MO is to pound the rock. That is Greg Roman's MO is to pound the rock. So like I don't want Herbert as my QB1. I want him as my QB2.
He's going to be a great streamer for us. We're going to be talking about him, I bet, a ton on the waiver wire segment, just as a guy that you can pivot and throw in there. All right, last running back we're going to talk about. This guy was going as RB20 last year, 55 overall. Gave us an RB10 finish. I didn't believe it. I had to double check it, triple check it. This is PPR we're talking. But yeah, finishes RB10. He was 14th in targets last year. He...
RB10.
Finished.
I keep wanting to say Aaron Jones for some reason. I don't think it's Aaron Jones, right?
No, it's not Aaron Jones. All the love for him, but he didn't make this list this year.
Okay, he finishes RB10. All right. Everything's kind of reactionary.
There we go. Okay, so not quite RB10. I don't know how he got there in the rankings there for me last year, but finishes RB19. We were drafting him as RB20, so came in right there about. But right now he's going in as RB26. I guess that's the biggest thing I wanted to talk about, is he's going a good chunk behind, finishing as a middling running back 2. He's being drafted as a high-end running back 3. This guy had no other running backs added to the room. Well, I guess Kyle Monungai, but are we really going to talk about him? The offensive line was juiced up with 3 players. We have a brand new head coach that loves to run the ball, is very creative. Why are we fading him? Because I want to draft him more.
I am on the boat of you should be drafting DeAndre Swift just because like it's Roschon Johnson behind him and Kyle Monungai, Kyle Monungai is like a 6th round pick. Yeah, it's still picked by this new coach and everything else like that. But I mean, I think like when you start to paint the picture, it's like Ben Johnson did work with Swift when they were there in the Lions. So like obviously they could have gone out and traded for somebody or gotten somebody that he really likes, but like he clearly likes Swift. He knows his offense. I think that's where we're at with it. Again, like it's one of those guys like him, Pacheco, Brian Robinson Jr. Like I'm all like I'll gladly be taking just because it's like their upside is tremendous.
Yeah, it's hard to fade those guys. Roschon Johnson's going at RB50. So he seems like one of the easiest clicks just as far as if something happens to Swift, even if we don't know exactly what that role is going to be between the two of them if they're both there. I just think it's an immense upside without him. But even so, like this could be our bruising goal line guy, our David Montgomery, if you will, David Light. Because that's what we saw a lot of Roschon Johnson last year. Our yards per carry is low last year. Why? He got a lot of carries at the goal line, a lot of 5-yard work. So you're not going to have a high yards per carry when you're running it in from that close. But DeAndre Swift just seems like somebody that's going to be easily ignored. I ignored him a little bit that year he played for the Eagles because I wasn't sold on his talent. But it bit you because the offensive line was good, because the play calling was good.
And then he got tackled to the 1-yard line so many damn times. It is honestly, and now you think about that, just think about that for a second. I remember DeAndre Swift was tackled at the 1-yard line so many times and Hurts to the tush push. Last year, Saquon Barkley, I can't, like, he was tackled how many? It was what, 10 times at the 1-yard line he was tackled at, and then tush push. At some point, they're just going to get the extra yard to fall over, right? Like,
maybe they're doing it on purpose. They're helping out.
Maybe
Jalen.
They're just like, hey, Hurts, just use your big old thighs and get in there.
Right, just deep squat it in. That's But DeAndre Swift, he was 14th in targets last year. I imagine we could see a hefty little increase. Gibbs was 6th last year with Ben Johnson. So if we get anywhere close to that number, it could definitely add some.
I think we want to compare him to that Swift or that Gibbs type role. I just think they're two different backs. So I think we want to chase that anomaly of that. I just don't. I think Swift will. I think he'll have a 65% sharehold of this backfield unless it goes south. So I'm all in on Swift though.
Yeah, RB20, I don't mind getting him as my second running back. I'd love to be him more of a flex play for me, depending on how you line up the lays.
I'd be so stoked to be my flex.
But ADP, how it is, we don't always get that choice.
And you got to know your league, too, at the end of the day.
100%.
You got to know what guys are going to be going for him. So.
If running backs start flying off the board, this is one I'm not going to be necessarily chasing or grabbing to make sure that I get a running back. I'm going to grab that wide receiver that fell to me, and then, like I said, I'm going to go get Roschon Johnson, RB50.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more. We have just 2 more wide receivers. So this first one, it's wide receiver 48 is where he was being drafted last year. Yeah, deep dive. We had to really dig. Maybe his quarterback got hurt, so that really threw some things off. But gave us a wide receiver 21 finish on the season. This was a bit of a touchdown man himself.
Touchdown man, wide receiver 21. Okay. Receiver 21. All right. Devontae Adams?
Not Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams finished higher. He was right around that wide receiver too. But yes, 92 targets, 63 catches, 875 yards, 9 total touchdowns. So he was tied for 8th.
Devonta Smith?
He is a number 2 for his offense, but it's not Devonta Smith.
Okay. All right.
Maybe he plays with the best wide receiver in the league.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, yes. Okay. Wide receiver 48, finished at 21. This year is going at wide receiver 33. So I will like this, like J.J. McCarthy going out last year, us getting stuck with Sam Darnold. I'm sure that's what played into Addison being at 48. Probably would have been closer to 40-ish had it not happened. But we're still wide receiver 33. Is that a overcorrection? Is that right about where he needs to be?
I think it's about right where he needs to be because at the end of the day, he's not going to be in that. I can't see a world where this is a A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith type or a Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill type of combo. I think Jordan Addison is such a great complementary piece to Jefferson. But I just don't think he's that. I can't the games where Jefferson was out, he didn't look super dominant. Where it's he's the alpha. It's just, and there's other weapons, man. There's Hawkinson. There is Aaron Jones, and they just brought in Jordan Mason. I just think this is going to be, and I think you and I both agree. If in a nutshell, I think we have Kevin O'Connell. If I had to put a gun in my head, I think I put Kevin O'Connell as number 3 coach in the league right now. Genuinely.
I would fight for anybody saying he's less than top 5, 100%.
Yeah, seriously. That's where I'm at with it. So I think it's one of those things where I think he's properly rated. I think I have him as my wide receiver 30. I just have Roma Dunze ahead of him, and I have Juwan Jennings behind him.
Yeah, that's about the same area I have him. I need to go through
Yeah,
and clean up mine a little bit. I
yeah,
keep wavering on some of my rankings, but
yeah. I
I
know.
I think it's encompassing to, yeah, I know technically he's a second year player, but rookie quarterbacks, we don't always get a high touchdown number. If it's going to
Mhm.
happen, it's going to be here with KOC. But TJ Hawkinson was coming off the injury last year, so we had to kind of see him get ramped up a little bit. I imagine we're going to see him closer to that number 2 target in this offense. In the running game, they traded for Jordan Mason. Aaron Jones is still there. They just paid Josh Oliver, another blocking tight end. They re upped this offense with a couple of a guard and a
Yeah, you
center. So
snagged both of our guys.
yeah, it's going to be a potent offense, and I don't think they're going to be afraid to run it in when they get close or do some sort of dump off to Aaron Jones. So if Addison can break off the big play like he does, I think 5 or 6 of his touchdowns last year came from that. But I just without those breakaway plays, I think he's going to be a little bit more limited in there. Only 2 of
Yeah.
them are 40 plus touchdowns, but
Yeah. Okay.
either way, he had some big plays. 6 40 plus yard touchdown or 40-yard receptions for him. All right, and last guy I want to talk about here, another stinker, or if you ask ADP, a stinker.
Okay.
Wide receiver 54 is where we were
Okay.
taking this guy last year.
All
The
right.
disrespect we had for the overall wide receiver 20 last year. What were we thinking? It's okay, folks. A guy that got 126 targets, 87 receptions, and 1,000 yards from a garbage quarterback situation. We're respecting it this year because this year we're drafting him at, oh no, wide receiver 40. The wide receiver 20, we're coming back this year on an improved situation. He got a brand new quarterback. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league over the last 2 years was just added to his team. He now has one of the best young running backs in the game behind him, or, on this team. So why in the world is this guy being faded? And who is he?
I'm like, is it Debo?
Now Debo.
Okay, it's weird. I'm trying to think. Like
He's
Wandale
the number
Robinson.
one on his team.
Oh, he's number one on his team. Okay.
Number one wide receiver on his team. Maybe not the number one target on his team. Because some guys have tight ends that aren't just super elite and.
Okay, now you're putting me in a freaking whirlwind here. What the heck am I doing? Is it
Black and silver.
oh, Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby freaking Myers.
I was
Yes.
like, what the
This
heck is
guy
going on
who
here?
still retained his number one status. We got a second year or a second round pick in Jack Besh coming in there. So he's got a nice supporting cast. You have Brock Bowers there. We have Ashton Jinty to help run the rock and make sure the running game's respected. Geno Smith is traded for. Again, one of the most accurate quarterbacks we've had over the last couple of years. Why is he going at wide receiver 40?
I think there's a multitude of things here, right? So Ashton Genty was just taken as number 6 overall. What does Pete Carroll love to do?
Oh, run the ball.
He loves to run the ball, baby. That's what
He's
he
had to
does.
run it every play, though.
I know. Okay, so there's that. So like we expect what per game basis, we expect like right around 20 touches for Genty. Like, can we say that?
15 to 20, yeah.
Yeah, like somewhere around there. All right. Brock Bowers is the guy. Like, I expect him to have at least double-digit targets right around there every week. So, like, it just becomes this, like, layered thing of, like, all right, like, I think he's too low. I think I'll have a lot of Mackers in my stock. I think you and I both agree that, like, he also didn't drop the ball at all last year. With that abysmal play at quarterback, he had 0 drops. Like, this dude is so underrated. Like, he was when he went to the Raiders after the Patriots, for whatever reason, didn't want to re-sign him, who was like their best wide receiver in such a long time, which they struggled to keep or to do and develop there. Like, I think he's very underrated, but I understand why people have him in the rankings where they do. But I'll probably be having a lot of Myers.
Yeah, even if they don't throw the ball quite as much as they did last year, defense improving a little bit, being able to run the ball, being more efficient. I mean, Brock Bowers got the max amount of targets he might ever see in his career. Not to say he can't do it again, but like, come on. So like, they can come back a little bit, and the efficiency metrics are going to be up there enough that I think he'll be just fine. He only scored 4 touchdowns too, so this guy with the numbers he had, he should have been closer. Like his expected touchdown rate was like 7.5, 8. So you give him a few more touchdowns, more efficient looks. I think this guy could absolutely crush. And at wide receiver 40, there's no risk. There's not a single risk at all because you could drop him the next week. It's stupid if you. I mean, like he's just going to be an easy, plug and play for you. If not, even if he's not like great, but still,
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think you and I are both like looking through our rankings, like, man, Myers is just like it's not a sexy pick, but like it'll pay dividends later on.
Would you rather have Jacoby Myers or Jordan Addison?
And I think I might. They're both number 2. I think I might go Myers. I think I just
I think so
I
too.
think I might slightly lean Myers there.
KOC is the only reason that like it
I do
gives
like
me
I
more
like
like conviction, just because like who knows how great this team really could be this year. But the schedule's going to be harder. It's going to be harder than it was last year. You can't win 13 games and not get a hard schedule the next year. So maybe that kind of offsets it. But I see no reason why you shouldn't be taking Jacoby Myers around these. I mean, at least in the same breath as a Sutton and an Addison.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, that's all I got for you, man. Time to put this thing to bed.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I guess which one of these players are you highest on? I guess in conjunction with their ADP.
Like so, there was Myers. There was list the
Addison,
players again.
Sutton,
No.
MHJ. Then you've got
No.
Swift, Kamara, Hubbard, Herbert, Mayfield, Stroud.
I would say Swift is up there on the higher end, and Myers probably. Swift and Myers are probably like out of the guys we've talked about are probably some I'm like a little bit more higher on. The other guys, like I think they're kind of properly rated, like nothing crazy. So, but I'm higher on those two.
Yeah, I think mine would be Kamara, Jacoby, and Sutton. Those three just seem like they have the highest chance of outperforming their ADP.
Yeah,
Herbert probably out of the quarterbacks, but like, what's he actually jump?
He
made
like a cliche, like of course, yeah.
He could score 5 more points, but be 3 positions higher. So it's quarterback. You're like almost tight end worthy. We don't want to talk about you that much.
That's rude.
They get all the love. They get that MVP, that award just for them. But folks, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Come back next week. We have to talk about OTAs. They've been going on the last couple of weeks. We're going to give you all the breakdowns, all the rumors, all the tea, everything we need to be talking about there. Don't forget to check out our other channel, Too Much Fantasy Football. We will be doing some off-the-wall content there. So if you're looking for something a little bit different than the same old, go get this guy, check us out there for sure. We're having lots of fun liking and subscribing. Brennan, before we get out of here, tell the folks, where can they find you?
You can find me on X at Too Much Bean Milk, and then I'm on the Fantasy Football Advice Network as well.
That's right, because you'll find me there too. It's at @too_much_Brian or at Too Much Brian, depending on where you're at. And of course, looking for the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, all those fun things. We got you rocking and rolling. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.